If you're an African American, a woman from any part of the world trying to build something, leading to something, or trying to understand the world you're operating in, this podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Iman. I am the co-founder of Naserian Axis.
And hi, I'm Jamila, also co-founder of Naserian Axis. Welcome.
We're your hosts today. We're launching something that we've been building for a long time.
So we look forward to having a real talk and discussions, and not just about our work, but about life and just learning from each other.
Over 2 years ago, I packed my bags from Tanzania. I left everything else and moved here to Minneapolis, and so did Jamila. And that's exactly what brought us here, to talk about life, to talk about building something together. We never thought that was going to happen, but it came through.
Yeah, like similar stories. I mean, we both packed our bags and moved here. And I was moving to Annapolis. We've been around in the States for around the same time, just over 2 years. And we're like, okay, we've known each other before, and we're like, let's see what we can do.
So before anything else, let's get to know us. Let the people know us. Jamila, if somebody met you at a school playground or a pickup line, who exactly would you say Jamila is? And not your work, just you.
I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm also from East Africa. Immigrant in the States.
Well, that's the same story as me, right? I'm a moved here 2 years ago. Here is the United States. We are trying to narrate our stories to you. I know you've heard about so many immigrant stories from different parts of the world and so many interesting stories. I promise you, our story will be interesting. Yeah, I promise you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Iman.
I mean, the wildest part is the fact that we knew each other from before. We worked together, we were like friends before, and we also had like a similar transition story. And we connected before moving here. We connected when we were here, and we're like, oh, how are you doing? And just so that we still had the fire to work in our fields, and that's when we decided to start Naserian Axis. So it's crazy that we both ended up in the States around the same time in similar circumstances.
Let's go. Let's take it back before Naserian Axis, before we ever had a thought, before we even knew that both of us were moving kind of at the same time. When does our story actually start? What was the actual timeline? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, years ago, we probably met when I was working in my previous role. I was managing programs and support for organizations working with communities, and Iman was working with one of those organizations. So I think that's how we met, and that's probably taking us back like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah. It has been a long
Yeah.
time. So just for context,
Mm.
Jamila was working for one of our donors. I'm not going to disclose who. And I was working for a civil society organization, and we clicked. Like, I don't know, she was just this cool person that you want to be around. One of those donors, like there's that invisible line that you don't see between donors and people they fund. It's a line that we create in our heads that, okay, she's the donor. But Jamila was never like that. She was like, let me listen to you. Let me have a conversation. Okay. Yeah, I understand. One of those people that you are like, oh, she's interesting. And
Thank you,
I'm
Iman.
not saying it now because we're working together. I'm saying it because that's the personality you gave even before, like even when there was like this imaginary line drawn between us, me as a person
Yeah.
from civil society, and you as one of our funders. Okay?
Yeah.
So
And
I'm not just saying that
that's what
because
and thank you, man. And that was something that was like really important to me in my previous role, because before joining the Donor Development Agency, I was coming from a civil society background. So I worked with an organization that was doing advocacy on women's rights. And I understood the context that a lot of the civil societies work under. And I wasn't coming from the background of like just only understanding the donor's perspective. So it was important to me that I was the partner that was supporting civil societies execute their mandate and supporting them with not only just the funding and following up and being that super annoying donor wanting the report. Yeah, so hopefully I wasn't that. super annoying development partner. So it was important to have that relationship, and relationship building, I feel like, is one of like the most important things in getting the right results.
Yeah, honestly, I think having that background where you worked with the people that you fund, and it's really crucial for donor organizations. I don't want this whole conversation to be around donor organizations, but it's something that is crucial that you put yourselves in different hats. You had that women's rights feel. So it gave you that, okay, I know what they're advocating for. I know advocacy takes a long time, and I know and all of these things. So you wore that hat when it came to looking at the programs and everything else. And that's not what we want to discuss. Today we are introducing Naserian Rise, who we are as
Yeah.
people before we get into our different hats as mothers, as
Yeah.
this, as that. Today we want to, unravel us and our stories and how we came together in a different country, in a different continent, not a country. We crossed what ocean is between? Wait. It's
I don't
Atlantic.
think my I don't think my
We
geography is that
crossed the
well.
Atlantic
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah.
I was recalling my geography. We
Yeah.
crossed the Atlantic Ocean
Yeah.
all the way. Probably went through
Yeah.
Amsterdam. You
Yeah.
went from Tanzania, Amsterdam to Annapolis. I went
Yeah.
from Tanzania, Amsterdam
Yeah.
to Minneapolis. Oh,
Yeah.
Annapolis, Minneapolis. And
Yes,
here we
Annapolis.
are.
Yeah.
And we are here today as people, as mothers, as the different roles. We thought of, I know you, when you came here, you had so many English is
Many
not my first language.
perceptions.
I always
So
say
many perceptions, and we're
perception.
gonna mix some Swahili in there, so we'll do a little translation for those keywords.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're gonna hear words like Yamani, Yani,
Yeah. Yeah.
Acha, like words like
Yeah.
that. That is our African, and that's just Swahili that's coming
Yeah.
out. So if you
Yeah.
ever
We'll
hear that,
translate.
it's okay. Our stories are similar. We both moved here for love.
Uh-huh.
We're moms.
Uh-huh.
You have your own touch to your story. What was the hardest thing when you moved here? Being
Uh,
from, like, just being from Tanzania. I know you've lived across the world. You've lived in
yeah.
Italy
Yeah.
and the UK, right?
The UK. Yeah, so
So
Europe is very different. So even though those that experience of living in the UK and Europe, UK and Italy, but Europe is entirely different. I was not prepared. It was definitely a culture shock for me. I don't know about what your experience was, Iman. So basically, it was still a culture shock, building community again. I mean, living your friends and family. It was hard. I was reluctant to leave my friends and family. As we said, we moved here for love. My husband got a job here, so we had to move, and my contract was wrapping up. So it was an easy enough decision, but it was still a hard adjustment. It was hard to build community again and also find that rhythm, because the rhythm is very different. Yeah, the culture is very different. And I lived in Europe, but Europe is very, very different to the to the States, I can tell you that. So it was a
yeah, I
hard
agree with that.
adjustment. Yeah,
Mm.
it was definitely a hard adjustment. It was great to, well, I have my sisters in this country, but they live further out. The country is very huge. I didn't even know how big it was. It's so big, you have to drive everywhere. And I'm not really a person who likes driving. I'm not a driver. Luckily, my husband likes driving. So that was a saving grace for me. Road trips, somebody can drive. It's a good thing, Iman, you like driving, because here everything is driving. And I'm not a driver. I prefer walkability. I prefer, the little, walking to the shops, walking to blah, blah, blah. It hardly ever happens here. Settling in was hard. Having a toddler and not having your friends and family, my mom, that was hard. That's the thing about motherhood and coming out of your comfort zone and facing difficulties. You would expect that it would be like more, it will take time off. That's what I was expecting. Settle in, you take time off, be the, stay-at-home person and stay-at-home mom, and be content with that. But I think
Yeah, and
it
that's
actually
the hard
builds a
part
fire.
too.
It builds a fire in you that, you kind of actually emerge stronger and more determined. So it was more like what doesn't destroy you builds you, or whatever the saying is.
And
What
what doesn't
doesn't
kill you makes you
yeah,
stronger.
what doesn't
Yeah.
kill you make you stronger, kind of thing. So I think that's my experience, and I'm thankful all the challenges just shaped me how I am today, because I think how I am now is not the Jamila who left Tanzania almost 3 years ago. Thankful for that. I mean, Iman, I don't know what your experience was settling in here.
So
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Settling in a different continent, country, is quite different. It's difficult, I tell you that. Back in Tanzania, we had support, family, everybody, community, and community is the hardest part. I always stress about this. The community aspect is always the hardest part because everybody's raising your kid with you.
Yeah.
You have support. You are allowed to get sick, when you move here, You know what? When I moved here, you're not allowed to get sick because it's busy. When I moved here, my son was like 6 months old, not even a toddler yet, and it was so difficult because you have to navigate in a new country with 2 kids. I wasn't driving back then, so you couldn't like the mobility that you had back in Tanzania, where you can go out to wherever, Shoppers Plaza or whatnot, wherever you want to go. That aspect was quite difficult as well. And then being far away from home, and you have to call a new place home. Tanzania is like 8 hours ahead, where when you're beginning your day, everybody else is wrapping up for the day. And that's when you want to express yourself and say how difficult it is. But then you realize that everybody has moved on without you. And you're like, oh my God, they moved on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's the same old. When you call back home, you just have to always tell them how everything is going, how your day is going, how difficult it is to navigate, da, 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 da. And they're listening to you rant for a million times about how hard it is, but they don't really understand how hard it is because they're not in that same situation you're in. And you really want them to understand, but they can't. Now, here's the twist. If you're a person who is thinking about moving or has already moved, you have to be able to find yourself, okay? If you're going to always be thinking about, I need other people, even the people that are there for you at that particular time, right? As much as they're offering help, if you are not in acceptance, you're never going to be able to cope because you have not accepted the situation. And that is what most of us need. We need to accept that we're in a new environment, it's new laws, new everything, and we have to move regardless.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the most important part.
Learn the community. Learn the community, learn the systems, learn how everything is around you is working. Adapt. If you have to adapt, you have to adapt. When in Rome, they say, do as the Romans.
Yeah.
Of course, you can keep your Africanacity. That one we don't leave. We are African and we're proud, we never. But like you have to learn, and that's what most of us need. We need to understand that we need an identity of yourself as Jamila as a person, Iman as a person, not Jamila as a person who used to work somewhere, or Jamila as a lawyer who used to be in Tanzania, or Jamila as a big shot who used to or has been or whatnot. Jamila, who you want to see in the future. Okay. And that is how our story. I know I'm really being passionate about this because it's things that I've lived and if somebody else is trying to move or is trying to adapt, they have to find themselves first.
Yeah. You have to, it can be really hard. Moving somewhere new and starting over is not easy. You're probably going to have days where you have an identity crisis of like, oh, who am I? And I think for a lot of women, perhaps you want to do more than just be a mom. And if you had a career before, or if you have aspirations for a career, because the other thing I was thinking is, even if my main role is a mom and being a mom is not easy, nobody tells you how hard it is, especially back home. We don't talk about how hard it is. We want everybody to be in that boat. We can all be in the boat of like, motherhood, hardness, and you find out when you get in the boat. Nobody's warning you before. Nobody's teaching you nothing, right? You just find out when it happens to you, right? So I think being a mom, that is hard as is. But as much as it's hard as is, as a woman, you do not have to choose one or the other. You could be a mom and still be yourself, because I kept imagining I'm a mom and I love being a mom and it's hard and it's taking a toll, but my kid is starting school soon. And she's going to be out of the door. She's going to be with her friends and no time for me. And as soon as that happens, then you're going to have a secondary identity crisis. So you need something for yourself so that you can feel empowered, so that you could feel yourself again. And a lot of mothers, I think what we struggle with is the identity crisis of now you're a mom, and then you're not yourself anymore. And then, so you're in this kind of like a situation where you're figuring out yourself and you feel like you have to choose, but you don't. We're here to tell you don't have to choose. You could be
we
calm and you could be a badass and you can, yes, sorry for the language. My kid is in school and you can still do you. And we're here to reinforce that you can still be you. You might need somebody in your corner rooting for you, telling you you can do it. I'd prefer you also have your own
Jamila,
identity.
guys. I have Jamila.
I have
She
Iman.
has me too. Yeah, she
I
has.
have Iman. And it's a great thing that also my husband didn't want me to just surrender my identity and like be, I'm just a mom. You know, he's happy for me that I'm doing my own thing because then I'm happy. Then everybody's happy. The child is happier because you're happier and your husband is happy too. So
I'm
doing you, it makes
I'm gonna
everybody
stop
happy.
you. I'm gonna stop you right there. I mean,
Yeah, go right ahead, Iman.
I'm gonna stop you right
Yeah,
there because I want you to stress on this.
yeah,
Choosing a right partner. Please
yeah.
explain.
That.
Please go ahead with that because that's very interesting. You know, like, and
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
for young girls who are listening
exactly.
to us right now. Do not go for the most handsome guy in the university or whatever. Choose a partner that will support you and
Yes,
will be
exactly.
ready to stand by you
Yeah,
when you're building something for yourself because they believe in you.
exactly.
Always go for that person who believes in you. Jamila, I want you to stress on this because
Yes.
it's very, very
Yes,
important.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna stress on this. I mean, this is our platform where we are gonna be telling the truth and we're gonna be talking about life and hoping whatever our message and our experience that we have resonates to somebody else and can help someone. So picking the right partner for us and Iman, so I'm also gonna swing it back to you, has been absolutely crucial in the sense that if you don't have the support, like let's say we are new here and then you don't have the support of your husband. Can you imagine how difficult that would be? So, like having a supportive husband that has your back, that you don't have to worry about when you are a mother, and then having a stressful job. So, you at a certain points in your life, you could choose. I don't need a stressful job right now. I want to focus on my child. And then that's why it's also easy to build for yourself because you can build what fits into your lifestyle. Because even when your child is in school, as a parent, and as a mother, you are still going to be honed in to them, i.e., you're going to be the contact if the child is sick and needs a pickup. You're still going to be the person who does the hair, for instance, if you have a child, at least does it well. I'm not saying that with men can't do these things, but if you're like a type A perfectionist like me, I'm like, if I can do this task better, I'm going to take it off your hands and certain things you prefer to do. So you're going to be that point of contact and or still be like a primary caretaker to your kid. And we'll talk about how to make this easy and workable for you in later episodes. We'll discuss more and dive deep into relationship dynamics and invisible load and all those aspects. But picking a right partner is the difference between what people say about, oh, like, your life can be over. Your life can be over figuratively and literally if you pick the wrong partner. We all know that. And so that's why it's important to have somebody who's supportive, somebody who has your back when you are starting over or when you have a child and you cannot do a stressful job that requires more attention than what you need to give to your child in the early years. When they're toddlers, I'm all for the support and you being geared in. And if you don't have a community, then I think you need to consider having a structure that supports you having a child. And a supportive husband is one of the most crucial things, I'd say. Iman, over to you.
That brings me to my story where most people don't know this about me, or maybe they know because I posted a lot. I'm a preemie mom. Both my kids were born premature. And being able to have support from your husband changes a lot. Being a preemie mom is hard. Like
Mm,
it's
yeah,
so like being a mom is hard, but
yeah,
when your
exactly.
child is like there's a lot.
Hmm.
We had like complications during birth and everything else,
Hmm.
and then he was like underweight, he had jaundice, and there's so many sessions where we had to go to the hospital
Yeah.
back and forth for the phototherapy, bilirubin, whatever it's called, like those tests. We had to do a lot of them. He had to be poked. Like it was just too stressful, and then sleepless nights and everything
Hmm.
else. But even back then, because I was still back in Tanzania, I had those few months that my husband stayed. He used to be in Tanzania for 3 months and then come here. Having him for those few months, the 3 months together, going through the hospitals and everything else, just was amazing. Even if the situation was very unpleasant and whatever,
Yeah.
I never want to relive that back again. But the situation
Yeah.
was beautiful because of the support that you have from your partner. Now that takes me back when we were starting Naserian Axis. When I was introducing the idea to my partner, he was like, I believe in you and I believe you can do it. That itself just made me feel like I won the biggest grant ever. If it's a $1 million grant, I have won that.
I know,
Just
right? Isn't
hearing
that awesome?
them is so
Yeah, it's
amazing. Just
awesome.
hearing
Yeah.
someone root for you and tell
Yeah.
you that you
Yeah.
can do it. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter your background. It
Yes.
doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who you are. And it doesn't matter what other people
People
tell
think.
you,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
those lines that have been
Mhm.
drawn, imaginary lines that
Mhm.
have been drawn to bubble people like us, like immigrants,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
our capabilities, all the licensing. Like if you're a
Yeah.
doctor in Africa, when you come here, you always have to get a license. You always have to back that up with
Mhm.
credentials from the
Mhm.
United States.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to start, let's say you've worked for 15 years plus, I've worked for 10 years plus, right? Back home.
Mhm.
But if you come here, you always have to start over. I don't know if they trust you. I'm not sure what it is, but that
Yeah.
you always have to start an entry level for you to work your way up.
Yeah.
That
Into the
aspect.
system. Yeah.
So, yes, so when you look at that aspect and somebody else tells you, you know what, you can do it. You got it. You've like
Yeah,
that,
exactly. Yeah.
you're good to go. And that's why we say choose a great partner, a good partner who will support you through your highs and lows,
Mhm.
not just financially, but that moral support is most of the times what you need when you're trying to understand that whole concept of what's going on, what's what, person who would give you information, not just a
Yeah.
partner who you stay with at home, but also a partner like me and Jamila, right? A partner that
Yeah.
will back
Yeah.
you up and say,
Yeah.
man, these are your strengths. Work on them. I'm a notary public and Jamila always stresses it.
Yes. I'm like, that should not sleep. No skills should rest. Yeah.
Someone who pushes you. And when we say partner, I know we started with talking about like husbands and whoever your partner is, but partners, even your work partner.
Yes.
Starting Naserian Axis with Jamila has been a blessing because we complement each other.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's
Definitely a
take you to
blessing. And
our story and what we've
yeah,
built, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So we complement each other with our different strengths. I'm the business development and the operations lead, and Jamila is the technical and program lead. We're both co-founders, but we have our different roles that we're playing.
Mhm.
And all these roles need complementing of like each other's skill set.
Mhm.
If you're good at communications and you're good at writing, how do we communicate your very well thought piece
Mhm.
to the people so that they can understand it?
Yeah.
That I compliment you, you compliment me. And that's how you should choose a good partner. It's not
Yes.
always about who's the smartest in the room. We're all smart at our
Mhm.
own capacities, What my capabilities might not be, it shouldn't limit me to not being smart, or what my education background is. It shouldn't be that. It should be what I bring to the table versus what you bring to the table, right? You compliment me in so many ways and I compliment you in so many ways. You have a piece that is so hard to explain to the people. And then I'm like, Jamila, let's sit down. Let's have a talk about
Yes,
this.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It
And
has to
then
be
it,
translated.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Jamila would say, no, I don't think this would work. And don't take it as an offense if somebody says this won't work, because let's sit down. That's what it means. Let's
Yeah.
sit down and
And discuss.
reevaluate this.
Yeah. I love it. I love hearing your take and how you're explaining. And I think that's where like your strength in communication is very important, because sometimes we're talking about all this women empowerment and development, and it's not really easily digestible to everyday people. But this shouldn't just be a topic of conversation amongst people who are working in development. And hence why we're launching Naserian Rises, because we want this conversation to be for everyday women, for everyday people to
Mm-hmm.
understand, because once we all understand what is at stake, we can all be in this together, in the sense that let's not just let the women rights people, development activists work on our rights. As women, we should all know what is going on with women and where we are getting affected, so that we can all be in it together. So we can support each other, we can understand, we can build together, we can look at barriers to any of these things, because there's barriers to everything. As a woman, we're not the privileged sex. So we have to debunk the barriers. We have to talk and debunk any issues together, being a mother, choosing the right partner, starting a business. So this is what this podcast is going to be all about. And we also want interactions. We want inputs. We want stories that we can discuss, and we want your requests for featuring as guests. If you have something to say, let's talk about it, and it will be interesting to know. So what Iman was saying about working in developing the space and, picking the right partner and seeing where you're complementing each other is absolutely spot on. And looking at our experience of how we got here and how we built Naserian Axis is also what we want to inspire other women to do. We want to inspire other women to see that they are able to achieve anything if we are, despite of challenges and barriers like complications or a difficult schedule where we have to also juggle motherhood, but it's absolutely possible. So if it's possible for us, it's possible for anyone. And hence why we want to have these discussions. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and we want you to stick around. Stick around
Yeah.
because we have a lot coming. The
Yeah.
conversation is going to be educational, emotional, all the shenanigans, every shenanigans that you know, inspirational, all the shenanigans that you know. And it's not just going to be limited to talking about the Naserian Axis or about us, but it's going to be mostly understanding women and where women are at this particular time, and how we can empower each other as women, So join us,
Yeah.
I've said so many times, and now I'm thinking about it
So
again.
good. We understand. We get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So join us. If you have like 3 things right now before we go, Jamila, what will you be telling the people? Like, what will you tell the people? 3 things, just 3 things that you
3
tell.
things.
You'll tell young girls, young moms. You tell 3 things that you think that are key points that people are supposed to focus on in their journeys.
Oh, and there's Melulu. We have another guest. Hey, Melulu. So 3 things where I would say to young women, working moms, stay-at-home moms, is that your essence, yourself, it cannot be taken away, right? You decide. You decide where you want to go with your life. So as a young woman, you have an opportunity. You still haven't maybe gotten married or you don't have those responsibilities. So you have the opportunity to think far where you want to go and start working on the groundwork to get there. As a stay-at-home mom, as a working mom, as a mother, your life as your individual self has not gone anywhere just because you're a mom or you're married. And you still are in the driver's seat and you determine where you want to go. You can change direction, you can redirect, you can reinvent at any time. That possibility is out there. I think the narrative and what we're being told shapes how we think and what we believe, and that's a limiting belief, and that limits us. Yes, you can do it all. I actually believe you can do it all. It might not be 100% on all the things at the same time. It will be like a give and take on different things at different times. So you prioritize accordingly. And you could be more mom at a certain period of your life because that's what you need to focus on and that's what is important for your kid. And then as soon as that period where they need you the most is done, then you also have to start thinking about yourself, because I think just wearing the mom hat all the time might not necessarily be what all women want. You explore what you want to do to whatever capacity you want to do it. You can still be 80% mom and 20% whatever you want to do that makes you feel like you, but you don't abandon you because it's important. And I think society tries to make us think that, and don't fall for that. I think that's my key message for this.
And absolutely beautiful message for young girls, for moms like us. Now, before we go, you guys be seeing and hearing a lot from us. Okay. But what we want you to do right now, we want you to tag young girls who you think will benefit from our stories. If they're stay-at-home moms, if they're immigrants like us, if they're people who are trying to juggle through their careers, if they just tag them, let them see this information. Don't just sit with the information by yourself and be selfish. Don't be selfish. Okay. Yeah. Tag them on Instagram. Tell us Tell us your story on the comment sections.
Yeah.
If you want to be part of our guests,
Yeah.
we want to hear from you. If
Yeah,
you're an
please
immigrant
request.
who's living in anywhere in the world,
Mhm.
anywhere, as long as you moved from one country to somewhere else, tell us, how did you navigate? How did you make it? We know there is so many people of African ethnicity who have made it in different parts of the world.
Mhm.
We want to see you. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So check us out, okay?
Yeah.
And give us a thumbs up and likes and
Yeah.
review. I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever.
and
What are those things
subscribe,
called?
thumbs
Yeah,
up,
yes,
follow us
subscribe.
on our socials. Yeah. Yeah.
All of those things.
Yeah.
We need
all
them.
those things. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to
Yeah.
us.
Until next time.
Yeah. See you
Bye.
next time.